to my channel, the best place for eczema warriors to get rid of inflammation, itch, and the uncomfortable skin. Today, we are talking about 5 prebiotic foods that are amazing for your eczema and for your gut health. A lot of you guys always ask me, what do I eat, Julia? I have no idea what I should eat for lunch. I don't know if I should cook this. Like, is this vegetable good for me? Or can I eat this fruit? And that's why in today's video, I'm gonna share with you guys 5 foods to eat for your eczema, especially if you're feeling lost on what to purchase at the grocery store. So before we get started in today's video, I wanna share with you guys a client win. So one of my clients, Navreen, she was inside the Clear Eczema Group program in the summertime, and she saw so much healing in her neck as well as her arms in just 2 months. Before joining Clear Eczema, Navreen was dealing with a lot of rashes that would appear behind her knees, in the creases of her arms, and on her neck as well. Since joining Clear Eczema and learning how to make her diet very wholesome, including gut healing foods, which we'll be talking about today, ensuring that she has a very clear protocol to follow, her skin is now healing and it continues to heal. So I wanted to share with you guys that healing is possible, and this is exactly what Navreen has experienced by being inside Clear Eczema. So if you're wondering how to get inside Clear Eczema, we currently have a wait list for next round. You can leave your name and email in the link at the description box below for the wait list, and you'll be notified for the next round. Now, without further ado, let's get into the 5 foods to eat for your eczema and your gut health. So why are prebiotics so important, and why does everyone keep talking about it? There's so much research on the benefits of prebiotics on your gut health. Not only does it help to feed the good gut bugs, because it's actually the food that the good bacteria eats. Prebiotics also produce short-chain fatty acids, which are really good for your digestive system. They also help to maintain blood sugar balance as well as promote bowel regularity. That's why adding prebiotics in your diet on a daily basis is very, very crucial when you're trying to heal your digestive system. Then focusing on getting lots of prebiotics in your diet is definitely going to help with that. The very first prebiotic food that's really good for your eczema and your gut health are LEEKS. Now, I remember when I first went to the grocery store and I saw LEEKS there. I was like, what is this thing? It looks like a green onion, but it's like a giant version. It's super stiff. Like, how do I even cook this thing? And upon doing some more research, I found out that LEEKS are actually such a great source of prebiotics for your gut, and it's actually really, really good to include in your diet. I love LEEKS not only because they taste good, but because they're such a great source of prebiotics and it helps to feed the healthy gut bacteria. The thing about LEEKS is that most people see it at the grocery store and they're just like, what is that? Like, I don't know how to cook it. But what's important is that the vegetables that you see at the grocery store that you've never tried before, those are the ones that you actually want to try. Your gut loves variety. So if you can give it different vegetables that you've never tried before, trying new things, you're actually doing yourself a favor by helping your gut microbiome by adding more variety in your diet. When I cook LEEKS, there are usually 2 ways of how I cook it. So I either put it in a soup and I make a potato and leek soup, or I roast them in the oven. Now the thing with LEEKS is that you actually have to be strategic on which parts of the leek you actually eat. You actually want to cut off the ends of the leek, like the dark green leaves, and eat the middle part of the leek, which is usually the lighter green color, even sometimes white. So when you take the middle parts of the leeks, when you cut it, you can actually saute it in a pot and then use that as a soup base. I also like to add some potatoes in there, some onions, cooking it with the coconut milk, then transferring it into a blender, making it into a creamy potato and leek soup. That is by far my favorite type of way to cook LEEKS. I also cook LEEKS in the oven. I'll cut them into 1-inch pieces and I'll roast them in the oven with my other vegetables. So if you haven't tried LEEKS, I would highly suggest you go ahead and try it. If you're someone who likes onions and green onions and those kind of vegetables, then you'll definitely like LEEKS as well because they're similar. They actually come from the same family. So yeah, definitely try it out. The next prebiotic food that's really good for your eczema and gut health are mushrooms. I love, love, love mushrooms. I could literally eat it raw and dip it with some hummus, and that would be my perfect snack. I know that with mushrooms, either you hate it or you love it. If you love it, that's great, eat more of it, because mushrooms are also really high in prebiotics, and it also contains vitamin D as well. Vitamin D is something that is really good for your immune system, but also has been linked to help with people with eczema, especially if you have a vitamin D deficiency. There's been studies showing that your eczema can be worse if your vitamin D levels are low. So that's why I love mushrooms, because they're a good source of fiber, prebiotics, and vitamin D. Specifically, the prebiotics in mushrooms help to activate your gut microbiome, keeping your gut healthy. Mushrooms can be cooked in any kind of way you want. Honestly, I just like to saute them. I love roasting them. They actually go really well with leeks. So what I like to do is I'll actually roast mushrooms, leeks, onions, garlic in a big pan in the oven, and that's gonna be my vegetables for the night. This moves on into our third prebiotic food, which is garlic and onions. I'm sure you guys have heard about this one. Garlic and onions are amazing. They've been used for thousands of years for their medicinal properties. People have been using it as an antifungal and antimicrobial, especially when treating conditions like candida, for example. So not only are garlic and onions a great source of prebiotic, they also have other benefits, especially if you're someone who has candida or other kinds of fungal overgrowth. If you're eating more garlic and onions, it can definitely help with that. Now, of course, eating garlic and onions isn't going to resolve your issue, but definitely it can help with that because of its antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. Now, all onions are great for your gut, but if you were to choose, red onions are higher in antioxidants because it contains a plant pigment called anthocyanin. Anthocyanin is what gives some vegetables and fruit their color. For example, red onions, the purple color, or blueberries, the blue color. So if you're someone who wants more probiotics in your diet, more color in your diet, then you can go for a red onion versus a white onion. But at the end of the day, they're both good for you, so it's up to you which one you want to choose. If you're someone who's new to cooking and you don't really know how to include garlic and onions in your diet, honestly, the best way is just to use it as a base. Before you cook any of your meals, chop up some garlic, chop up some onions, and saute it in a pan or pot. Use that as your flavoring and your spices. After you do that for a couple minutes and it smells very aromatic, then that's when you can add in your other ingredients for your meal prep, whether that's vegetables, whether that's meat, whatever the case is. Garlic and onions are what makes your food taste good, right? Because of its pungent and kind of spiciness to garlic and onions, it really gives your food some oomph, some more taste and more flavor rather than just using salt and pepper. The fourth prebiotic food that's good for your eczema and your gut health are bananas. Bananas are super high in fiber. Particularly, it contains a resistant starch. So resistant starch are not digested by your gut, but what it does, once it goes through your gut undigested, it enters your large intestine. In your large intestine, there are bacteria that live there. So when the resistant starch enters into your large intestine, the bacteria ferments that starch, creating something called butyrate, which is a short-chain fatty acid. Now remember earlier this video, I talked about how short-chain fatty acids are extremely good for your gut health, and so that's why eating bananas is great because it produces the short-chain fatty acid butyrate. And butyrate helps to promote good gut health. How I like to eat bananas, I actually don't like to eat them alone. I feel like they taste kind of funny alone. I personally like to add into my smoothies. I like to add them on top of my oatmeal, for example. I like the way that bananas give my smoothie kind of that creamy texture because without a banana, it just feels watery. So that's something you can do if you're someone that's trying to include more bananas in your diet. You can add it into your smoothie, you can add it into your oatmeal. You can eat it alone if you like it that way. But the one thing is, if you are dealing with candida and you're really sensitive to sugar, because banana is considered a higher sugar fruit, then you definitely want to be a little bit more careful. Now, the last prebiotic food that's good for your eczema and gut health is asparagus. I love asparagus. I feel like I love all the foods that I talked about today. I mean, that's probably why I chose these foods in today's YouTube video, but asparagus is something that I actually started eating more recently, probably over the last year, as I started to learn about why certain vegetables are a little bit better in terms of their prebiotic content. So asparagus is one of them. Just like bananas, asparagus contain a starch that's undigested in your body. It's called inulin. Like bananas, asparagus contains a nutrient called inulin, which is a fiber. It doesn't get digested in your digestive tract, and it enters the large intestine where the healthy good bacteria will ferment it. Once it's fermented, then it helps with nutrient absorption, it helps with promoting good gut health and all the things. So these are the 5 prebiotic foods to include in your diet. Now I do want to mention, just because you eat these foods, they're not going to heal your eczema and leaky gut just like that, okay? The foods are meant to help support your gut microbiome and give it the nutrients it needs, helping you have a very wholesome and varied diet. It's not meant to heal your eczema. Diet usually doesn't heal eczema on its own. If that was the case, then none of us would have eczema because it'd be that much easier to heal, but unfortunately it's not. I do have a video that talks about why eating healthy for eczema is not enough for you to heal, so be sure to check out the video if you haven't already to learn a little bit more about that. If you're feeling stuck right now with your eczema healing journey, even when you're eating really well, I would really encourage you to check out my free training, because in my free training, not only do I talk about the diet piece of healing your eczema, but I also talk about supplements, stress, root causes, because those are also really critical in helping you clear your skin. So if you want to check out the free training, go ahead and click the link at the description box below. It is a super informative 70-minute training that covers so much about healing your eczema, so definitely check it out. Now, if you like this video, be sure to leave a comment below, because I'm going to feature comments in my YouTube videos that are coming up. So if you want to be featured, definitely leave a comment. And don't forget to also subscribe to my channel, because I do release videos every 2 weeks. There's a lot of upcoming topics coming up, and I want to make sure you guys don't miss it. Last but not least, if you haven't already, make sure you check out my other 2 videos right here, because I share so much information on healing your eczema, from your root causes, from stress, from mindset, TSW, and all the things. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching today's video, and I'll for sure see you in the next one.